carrying our role, and today we are welcoming everybody here to Indiana because we are celebrating the 2019 Ncuda Convention. We do this every 2 years, and this year Indiana is honored to host everybody from out of town for the convention. So we have an elaborate program for today and tomorrow, and we're just really pleased to be doing this, and we hope that everything is going to go successfully. We are glad for everybody who made it. We are thankful to God for journey mercies granted to everybody. We pray and hope that He will direct this whole occasion both today and tomorrow, and also take people safely back on Sunday. Welcome to everybody, and we hope everybody has a wonderful time. Thank you. I know, right? Here we are, right?
Sadina to be no ju can ji dey want to back to my food America game was Indiana. So Tunisia and China Bagere and Etidian Chona to bange to Rakwa Boga Ketina Bongo and go kere bongo n'empere body via We're going for the more blank with the bourgeois. You're going to have to go as away. This is what you want. And Chotinese Indiana Bonga Tigraki take a bongo bokima to my fuzzy to go someone ango Gregamanango and Negrekeke. There's a number of Bobiani Glamour Lange Ma de zo go de ma bi re bi ken ke bo a to ma mere na ngare a ke bla fu abo go kwa me class ana ncho no so ne do yo mbro mate ya kenu mono bona ke club ngwa mboro tigrezo so tebele afo agenda no but amu tuma kedenge chena bongo ebora fu de tigre wojo tiwotine ngo acho de kechegene so there's a big possibility we're going to change a little bit on the agenda so that we can be able to accomplish what we want to accomplish for this hectic weekend here in Indiana. So there's a copy of the agenda for tonight, and we can send, I think there are a few copies somewhere around here that we can send around for people to see, and most people already have them on their phones. So on the agenda we do have a call to order, prayers, minute of silence, opening remarks by the national coordinator, brief self-introduction, welcome by host chapter president, introduction of Ncuda chapters, chapter report, and we are going to begin with the Midwest, South, and Ncuda DC. From there, we set up our resolution committee, because as much as we are going to have this weekend, we're going to accomplish so much because we want to set a new direction for Ncuda USA. So these resolutions are going to make a big difference and set us up for our years to come. Then when we set up our resolution committee, we're also going to set up an election supervisory committee, because we're also going to have our elections here in Indiana. And then we'll go ahead and read the minutes of our last resolutions from 2017, and then adopt the minutes, matters arising from 2017, and then Ncuda financial report. Then we'll go to our floor discussions and question and answers. Then there'll be an address by the Ncuda national coordinator on the state of our affairs. Then we'll break for refreshment, and then we'll talk about our project, the project that was set up from 2017. We'll need to see where we are and if we are where we need to correct ourselves and move on. And then we'll go ahead and read the draft resolution that we're going to be discussing during our convention, and then we'll do our elections. So, with this said, we've talked with a few people here, and we might not be able to follow this agenda to its fullest. We might discuss a few things, and tomorrow morning, we're going to conclude with our meeting. We are here as Ngwo people. Any decision that we're going to be taking today, or anything that we decide now is going to be affecting us for years to come. And we don't want to rush about this. We have to think positively and think about what do we want to leave for our children. Because we are now setting a foundation that in 2035, some of us might be retired, being in Cameroon or wherever we're going to be. We want our children to still have a place where they want to belong. So, that said, I would like the Ngwo people to think about this while we start our discussions, because we cannot finish this agenda tonight, and we cannot work in a rushed manner to accomplish what we want to accomplish for this convention.
Oh God, our Father in heaven, We want to acknowledge you. We want to say, oh Heavenly Father, that you are great, greater than we can imagine. Thank you, oh Heavenly Father, for you showing us your greatness. And this just follow that we must worship, kneel down, bow down, and worship you, O Heavenly King. Yes, because you are a jealous God, and we must worship only you and only you, Yahweh. Father in heaven, we want to thank thee for letting us gather here today in this house. Thank you for granting us traveling mercies. Thank you for letting us think about our village. O Heavenly Father, you know, we know the times we are going through these days. Father in heaven, but we know that all will be well. All will be fine because we trust and believe in you. Come and be with us this moment, O Heavenly Father, and guide us in the deliberation of this meeting with what we'll continue to do tomorrow, O Heavenly Father, so that at the end of it all, O Heavenly Father, we look upon you and to say thank you, thank you. Hear this our prayer as we pray through Jesus Christ, your only Son, who is our Lord, Master, and Savior. Amen.
Amen. All right, move on to the next point, which is a minute of silence in honor of all the fallen sons and daughters. So, you rise. Just 1 minute. May the soul of all the departed sons and daughters live forever. Amen.
Amen.
All right, next item on the agenda is a minute opening remarks from the national coordinator, and I think that's me. So, 2017 to 2019 has been a year for all the Ngwo people to remember that we, as a people, we have the heart and a challenge to make sure our village is remembered. We have all taken our time to come to Indiana, not because we do not have things to do, just because we want to see Ngwo village and our community live as a peaceful community. Everybody sitting here today have something to say. Everybody that has come here today is thinking, how do we move forward as a community? But I will put it this way. We have 3 chapters in the United States so far. We want to have more. But for us to make these chapters to be an example for all other communities, for us to say we are going to grow in a respectful community with a heart of forgiveness, and to understand that we can never have an organization that doesn't have faults. The biggest challenge is, how do you get up from your mistakes? How do you wake up when you fall? And when you get up, you're going to remember how you fell. And you're going to make a big difference. We have come here to Indiana because we want to see a difference. And I will respectfully say, let's all know that we cannot waste a lot of our time to argue over things that we're never going to be able to accomplish. We should all set goals. We should have a vision, and we should have rules that we have to follow as Ngwo people. The young people grow to copy from what the older generation have envisioned for a village. But the moment we take the wrong direction, the young people also copy those wrong directions. There is no way any Ngwo person sitting here can tell me I don't love my village. You might run away from your people, but you might never run away from your village. You might think differently, but at the end of the day, your village is the only place that you can be proud of. That you can get up one day and say, I'm going home. Sometimes when I think about Ngwo village, I think about some of the things we say to each other when we get into arguments. I question myself, do we really love ourselves? Let's move on. Let's think about what we want to do for ourselves. Which direction we go is for us. Thank you. Thank you. So, we'll do a quick self-introduction because most of us, we don't know each other. Maybe we are seeing each other for the first time. So, I'll begin. My name is Patrick Ngene, born and bred in Kun, Ngwo village. And I'm a proud son of Ngwo. And I'm the coordinator of Ngwo people in the United States.
Okay. My name is Bennett Itake. I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm the secretary of Ncuda Usa. Born in Cotton.
My name is Robert Akonji. I'm your host. Thanks for coming. I'm original from Nkun. I was born in Nkun. Thank you. Daniel Korondo from Nkun, coming from Maryland. Secretary General of Ncuda Usa DC chapter.
Thank you.
Please, can I say something? I'm going to die. No, Ncuda, the convention of Ncuda Ngwo.
I'm Raymond Ofe, President Ncuda DC chapter. Kumuna Raymond Ofe, President Ncuda DC.
They wanted
Okay. No. Okay, Clement.
Oh.
I'm Clement Anjo Mwonge. Can I make Gamma Gaga?
Nana Caroline Adam.
That's fine.
Nana Caroline Ada Atekwana Mwonko Nyamanjo.
Yes, Sabu.
Yes. Atekwana only Sabu.
Okungona Atekwana Ignatius alias Amazonia. Magle Asabli and Mena President Scoop USA.
Hey, yes, Scoop Captain Samaritos.
Okay. Mena Susanna Ije. Mena Mwakutu Mena Maryland.
Omugaya Nyangwe Matthew from Oshe Ndongwa. Thank you.
Mena David Ngene. Azagara Atuandu Afa. Oku.
Mena ye akeme. Ezi unkun.
Mena Jackie Awuru.
Where's the uncle?
Vice President. Benis Awuru from Kun. Mena Sophia Tono. Mena Mwongo. Grema Nwa Grema Abasa. Polisi. Ncuda USA. Mena Bana Regina. Eze mfunu mwana wa Sablembu.
Capital.
Na Ekwana Peter.
Matthew Awuro. Unkun. Na ama akonje to mwake waraka.
Mena Diana Inji. Mena Inji we don't know what put it.
Confirm.
So master now. Yes,
Mena Philip Anago. Mena Jia Sablin. And Mena Treasurer for this Ncuda DC.
Mena Rose Anago. Any Biongo Putin Ishiki. Njeko.
What are you wearing?
Confirm.
When I regime Inge.
Oh, I can get it.
Good, they have bad
Eban Anago. Is that Sabli?
And then I'm not Miss Ofe. Married to Raymond Ofe.
My name is Elizabeth Anago. From Bama, married to Anago's family. Sabri? Yes.
Oh, yeah. What is
East Coast, Washington.
Confirm.
Oh, we are Christian, I guess.
different Abinte. Lanham, Maryland. He, Christopher Abinte.
No, Christopher Abinte.
Some was Sabri Mongo, you know, when I saw one Pinky got my camera.
Pimpy.
Bray Bongo, the Kunguna Christi, what I'm gonna conjure. A cloud ranch here. We knew going here.
Okay.
Ekumugona Livinos NC.
Alright. From here. I have
Yes, sir.
Ekunguna Madin Tembe, capital lady.
Confirm.
From John.
Confirm.
Mara Sabli on Tembe.
Right, somehow. Okumbu na call of Semba. When I walk around, go is it Assembly, Matoma, Maryland.
Okay, maintenant, Roger. What a bien blande. It's sticky.
Irene Azia, wife of Azia, Putin. Can you get
Okay, sorry, it's okay, my daughter. Okumunguna Jonathan, I've been was subliminal in the cloud chain. Thank you. Well, I get welcome and advice and get Ncuda USA. That's another title. Thank you. And Peter Nta. Okubu ngona engi wokabe komango obo.
Mena, mo get talk to them. They can't come. Mena Augustine Tembe. Bien warm. Aqua okakla. Romana clane. Fine get one. Equipment was a little bit of young worker. Financial secretary. Outgoing one.
My name is Edio.
You don't know the place?
Kumungu na Edibea Woro, the Glankun Treasurer Coordination.
Is it black?
Alright, last but not the least, Akunguna Asama Mfo, Ambronco, Mo Emer Sambo, Assembly.
Okay, to build your body, my still my 20 minutes.
Antos family. Remind them.
Amana Anchi, and Minawo, Mr. Manadi, and Mr. Elizabeth Amana. McGlynn.
Good, what to make chat one day. All right.
Ekungwena akoko Kelly Nkose. Nesiana Zanjo.
Please come up there.
Good evening, everybody. Karina Atepana Sabu.
Crazy. You get a keke. Some number one, my banana be to Kimberly. Donato Gumbrazia to a bell. The number will go to the way, Glare, Mary Lara, Kibichu and Gray Tweet. And in fact, the Gerekeke, I'm personally touched with your turnout. I never expected this. I thought it was a joke. Your turnout is an eye-opener. And not only to me, to my group too, I think so.
That's obvious.
So, okay. No, better go to Mumbo Glizzy, no. Me would better go to Mumbo Glin number, no, my is any wow, no. And I want to give special thanks to Ncuda for making Indiana the host of this convention 2019. And I want to thank God too for the traveling mercies, for bringing you people to us safe, and we wish the very God to take you back home safely too. We started this group 10 years ago, just 2-3 of us. We lost one of our members. You all know. Robert Akonjo was our pioneer president. And today we're able to, I think we can count 20 or more of us today. And then we've been doing every possible best to have our name written in the book of Ncuda. And I know, as a mother group, through your effort, through this kind of enthusiasm that you guys have made to Indiana, we promise you, Indiana will be a different group next convention. We will be there in our number. Nobody will be left behind. So we don't need to talk much. We have everything you will need that I promise you people. We've spent sleepless night. You all saw the time I got here. I am a very punctual person in life. I couldn't make it here because we had to touch everything to make sure everything is ready for you people. So you're staying here, we'll be fine. So feel very at home. Be happy. You will have anything you need, anywhere you want to go. We want you people to take a message back to Mike Pence that you were home.
Yeah.
So when you get to Maryland, please contact Mike Pence that, oh, we were in Indiana and this is what we got. So there's not much to say. Time is against us. Feel free, enjoy yourself, continue our activities, and then tomorrow too will be another day. All right, stay fine, feel fine.
Thank
So this is an example of what we want to accomplish here today. As much as we have so much to say, we want people to be time conscious. 2 minutes, 1 minute, make your point, and we'll move forward. We have a lot to accomplish. So again, the Midwest president is going to be the first person to come up here, and it's going to be followed by the South region. I know Mr. Egebe is somewhere around here. I don't know if he's here down here now. And then to the Ncuda DC chapter. So Midwest, if you have anything to tell the people of Ngwo, you can go ahead and tell us how everything's moving in your territory.
Yes, we should have everything documented, I'm sure, very sure. The financial secretary, the treasurer, they should have their papers. If not ready, then they will be ready anytime soon. But over the 2 years, the first year was really a very successful year. We did so much. We met on several occasions. We carried out so many activities. Actually, the first year we accomplished a lot. So many successful bond houses. With the 20. Then the second year was a bit, we had some crisis on time up in between. But we were able to pick up things back when we were actually ready for this day today. We have some few coins around. I think that will be handed over to the National Treasurer. But I don't know how much I can actually confirm the figures. But it will not be much. We were able to support, we supported the, we did some few contributions, and some of it was extended to Maryland. Like the crisis, into something crisis for the ongoing war. We did the little we could. The treasurer for that project, or whatever it was called, Mrs. Comfort Jacob, received some money for that. And all that, you guys will find that in our report. But it's going to be submitted to the treasurer, coordinating for treasurer anytime soon. If we don't do it here today, then make sure to be rest assured you will find it. We'll send it to you. So there was no time. Time was, you guys know how this convention just came up. It was there, but the way things went over the years, nobody expected a convention again. It just bumped out like that, and then we said, "Now, let's go ahead with it." So we've been rushing, and we're still rushing, but we are good. We are fine financially. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, standing here as the president of Ncuda DC, I can proudly say that Ncuda DC is waxing strong. For the past years, we've moved from two-digit membership to 3-digit membership. So in 2017, we were about 80-something members, and today we are counting about 160 members. As far as finances are concerned, we have prepared all the financial reports, and the financial secretary of the coordination is in keeping all those records. So all the records have been sent to the coordination, and they have them. It has not always, in every organization, things don't usually go smooth as they're supposed to be. But we've gone through some few turbulence, but we went through them as a people, and today we are very strong and moving forward. Ncuda DC, which I can say is the backbone of Ncuda USA. You can see our numbers here today. That tells you who we are, our commitment to this organization. We are proud to say we are the backbone of Ncuda USA, and will continue to be. If any brand feels that we are not, let them challenge us. But we like challenges, and we're not going to let anybody take that from us. As the outgoing president of Ncuda DC, I know we have very strong members that are going to take over from us, and we see them every day. And we also know the commitment of all our members, the commitment to their village, to their community. And we know they're probably going to do better than we have done for the past 2 years. So I assure you, the whole community here in Indiana and the entire United States, that Ncuda DC will continue to have a strong membership in this organization. And I want to use this opportunity again to thank all our members that made it clear. And I want to encourage them to continue to do the great things they have always done for this organization. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. DC Chapter. But I know you said the DC Chapter is the backbone of Ncuda USA, but I will tell you one thing. The number of children we're having in Indiana, will be there. So, our next point on our agenda is supposed to be, I don't know if Mr. Egebe is anywhere around to say anything so far. Okay. Our next point is supposed to be set up a resolution drafting committee that is going to take down any of the major decisions that we're going to make here today. But before we get to that, I'll take maybe a few minutes to read a message from the National President of Ncuda, Mr. Akoko Matthew. Dr. Akoko Matthew. Okay, National Coordinator USA, the Ncuda Chapter President, very distinguished invited guests, the Ngwo population in the USA. Ladies and gentlemen, in my capacity as the President General of Ngwo Cultural and Development Association, and on behalf of the Ncuda National Executive Committee and the entire Ngwo population, I wish to express our sincere wishes to you on this occasion of the celebration of the 2019 convention. We congratulate the Ncuda Midwest for taking up the challenge to host the 2019 convention. Ncuda USA has worked in synergy with Ncuda General to bring about meaningful development for our village, Ngwo. It may be important to remind ourselves of the important strides we have made so far. In 2009, the enlarged Executive Committee of Ngwo Cultural and Development Association met and expressed an urgent need to give Ngwo a befitting palace, and consequently resolved in its resolution number 2 of 21st of March 2009 to construct a modern palace for Ngwo. The mobilization of the Ngwo population for funds for the construction of the modern palace was launched on the 11th of March 2013. A religious and traditional blessing ceremony to kickstart the work was conducted at the site under the supervision of the Fon Ngwo. This was followed by a very successful fundraiser at the Bamenda Congress Hall on the 19th of July 2014, where the Ncuda branches and their friends raised the sum of 10,108,000. This great effort by the home branch of Ncuda was saluted by Ncuda USA through the disbursement of 14,256,216 francs for the palace project. Ncuda used the funds to put up the main building at the palace site. Unfortunately, when the building was near completion with only some portions of walls to be plastered and flooring, it developed some technical problem which caused us to pull down the wooden floor to replace it with a concrete deck of sand, with a concrete decking floor. The rehabilitation work consisted of erecting new columns and beams to sustain a new deck made of sand, concrete block, and immediate ribs, redesigning and realizing of a gentle slope staircase, redesigning and petitioning the upper floor into 2 guest apartments, each consisting of sitting rooms, at a total of 12,383,400 francs. Ncuda USA requested approval from Ncuda General for them to take the responsibility of constructing the funds residence previewed in the plan of the palace structure. The request was saluted by Ncuda General, and the EEC in its resolution number 17 of 9 July 2017 held in Yaoundé approved the request of Ncuda USA to single-handedly sponsor and supervise the construction of the funds residence, while the home branch and the other diaspora branches take charge of the rehabilitation work on the main building. We had hoped that those projects would have been completed by this time. Unfortunately, the work have been halted because of the ongoing crisis. The royal celebration planned for December 2019 will definitely be postponed. The EEC is meeting in Douala on Sunday, the 11th of August 2019, and will take a resolution on the royal celebration. I wish to use this opportunity to call on all Ngwo's sons, daughters, wives in the US to make some celebration in great success whenever the time comes. It will be a great opportunity for all of us to meet at home again. As I said earlier, Ncuda USA has been a major development partner for our village. You have made tremendous efforts to make Ngo a better place to live in. Some years ago, you sent a container of medical equipment and supplies for our hospital. Unfortunately, this container ended up somewhere in Douala and we never received the items. Not long ago, you also put together your hard-earned dollars and bought a 4x4 Toyota 4Runner for the fund. Ncuda USA has put in place a scheme that sponsors teachers for our substantial contribution. For our primary schools, the project is ongoing, though suspended because of the crisis. Some years back, you sent substantial contribution as annual dues, which is an annual levy paid by every Ngo man and woman. I indicated earlier how much Ncuda USA has sent in 2014-15 for the Palace project. The funds resident and the envisaged multi-purpose complex are projects that will run into tens and tons of millions of CFA. For all of what Ncuda US has done and is yet to do for our village, Ncuda General here registered the appreciation and gratitude of the entire Igbo population to Ncuda USA. It is, however, regrettable that Ncuda USA has been collecting annual dues and not forwarding some to Cameroon as expected. This success story mentioned above can only be attributed to the efforts collaboration with the members of Ncuda USA, where there is total respect for each other. Respect that is driven by love. Every opinion has been valued and should be considered. Ncuda structures must not be used to settle scores. Vices that tear us apart only breed hatred and lack of unity in purpose. I expect the Coordination Bureau to limit its responsibility to that of coordinating the branches or chapters and creating other branches in the United States. The coordination must not subdue branches or chapters and prevent them from dealing with Ncuda General. The branches in the Southwest region and Ngo village, though functioning with a Coordination Bureau, have their sovereignty in dealing with the Ncuda General. We expect the branches or chapters in the US to function same. Thank you very much and God bless you all. So that is the message from Dr. Akoko, Ncuda General President. And as most of you must have seen, I did send out a message 3 or 4 days ago because they have a meeting in Douala on Sunday. And the expectation was for us to be able to send out suggestions on what we want for our village. So maybe some people might have sent some information to the Ncuda General, but we did not get any from here to send back home. So the expectation is still there. We have up to tomorrow to send this information out there. I spoke with him earlier today, and most of the delegates are already in Douala, and the meeting is holding on Sunday. All right, thank you. So, did you say media?
Well, we started, we called it Ncuda South Central. We started for the first year like an experiment. When the distances between us could not permit us to operate the way we wanted. So it was also in Newfoundland. Many people came, they were trying to settle. many were going to school. So it became difficult for us to operate. And so everybody was taking time off to go to school. So we are trying now to regroup. Some have moved from Oklahoma to Houston, some from Houston to Dallas. So we're trying to regroup now. I hope that the next convention we should be able to have a group that will be functional. For now, that is what I have for the group that we started. But that notwithstanding, we have some money that we gathered for development that will be presented later on. So that's all I have for the group for now.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. President. And you don't sow seeds and have it the next morning. So we're going to move on and make sure this branch is there, and maybe our next 2 or 3 conventions will be in Dallas or Texas, wherever we're going to be. So we would like to get Mr. Secretary to give us to refresh our minds about what we discussed last year or 2017. So.
Good evening, Bongo. The last convention that held in Washington, D.C., that was in July 2017, July 29, 2017. 3 members were chosen to draft the resolution. Myself, Benedict Ake, Christopher Abende, and Golof Mba. So we prepared the draft and finalized and submitted to the past secretary, Mrs. Ejo. I have here the resolution, which I'm going to read to you. Resolution of the Ncuda USA 2017 convention holding in Washington, D.C. The meeting in an enlarged General Assembly of Ngwo Cultural and Development Association, Ncuda USA, held on the 29th of July 2017 at the Friendship Convention Center. Considering the need to evaluate the activities of the Ncuda USA for the past 2 years and the development of Ngwo village, we, the sons and daughters of Ngwo living in North America, do resolve as follows. On the issue of electing new members of the Coordination Committee of the National Ncuda USA, do elect the following to constitute Electoral Committee. Benis Abo Aworo was elected, George Asa Anago was elected, Madame Therese Anchiko was elected. Those were the 3 members who were elected for the Electoral Committee. On the minutes of the last Ncuda USA convention, members resolved not to deliberate on any of the executed projects, but to focus on pending projects. In reference to the 2015 resolution on the Multipurpose Center project, the General Assembly resolved to carry the project forward and to complete the project before August 2018. That in a reference to resolutions 19 and 20 of the Ncuda EEC meeting of July 9, 2017, authorizing Ncuda USA to construct the fund's private residence, a technical committee of 12 members headed by Pastor Etamo was created and charged to come up with a roadmap for the construction of the fund's private residence. On the issue of guaranteeing the payments of teachers of Ncuda USA, it was agreed that members be levied the sum of $25 for this year, 2017. On the issue of the palace vehicle, resolved that the national coordinator and the DC chapter financial teams reconcile their accounts and report to the General Assembly. On the issue of traditional rights relating to construction of the palace or any other project, it was resolved that traditional rights must be respected before the commencement of any project. On the issue of Nguo roads, it was agreed that a club of friends of Nguo roads be created, headed by Ni John Anong, Mr. Matthew Amberetu, and Mr. Patrick Ngene, and charged with the responsibility of mobilizing all Nguo daughters and sons worldwide to contribute money for the maintenance of the Nguo roads. On the issue of the payments of development dues to Ncuda national members, agreed to suspend payments for 1 year so as to execute the 2 projects, that is the Fonds Private Residence and the Multipurpose Center. On the issue of the complaint against the 2 independent architects hired by Ncuda USA to evaluate and report on the state of the palace project, members vehemently condemned the action of the President General and the EEC to file a criminal complaint before the Mbengui State Council, and resolved that the Ncuda USA coordinator and his legal team sent a strongly worded letter to the Ncuda National President requesting him to withdraw with immediate effect the complaint. On the issue of the above-mentioned complaint, it was resolved that Ncuda USA reserves the right to take legal action against the Ncuda National Executive for misappropriation of funds for the palace project. On the election of the new governing team of the Ncuda USA, the following persons were elected to the following positions: Ncuda USA Coordinator, Mr. Matthew Amberetu; Ncuda USA Vice Coordinator, Mr. Patrick Ngene; Ncuda USA Secretary General Benedict Ake; Ncuda USA Financial Secretary, Mr. Ntembe Augustine; Ncuda USA Treasurer, Mr. Edibe Aworo. Done in Washington, D.C., this 29th day of July 2017.
Clap, guys.
Do we agree that the 2nd week of January is when all the financial reports and the money that has been collected for the year to go to the national coordination?
Not for the year, for the previous year.
The previous year?
Yes. Yes, agree. I support that idea. I support that resolution.
Can we vote? And if it's not sent, what will happen?
Difficult question.
I think everybody has said 1 or 2 things about this. I'm going to give just 2 more chances for 2 people to just throw lights on this and we'll move forward.
Good question. If they don't send in the 2 weeks, what will happen?
Yes, we are not. We don't want to beat a dead horse, right? Money was withheld for a reason. The DC chapter president has made that reason known several. Money was
not to everybody.
Hold on. Money was withheld for a reason, and that is the root cause. Why was the money withheld?
In 2016.
So it's the precedent that was set. So if this resolution has to be taken, it has to also include a clause that under no circumstances shall a chapter withhold funds. Whether they have the dispute something that the coordination did in the past, or the coordination could not account for some money, wasn't transparent about some money, that's 6.5 that is on that report, the humanitarian crisis money. We should say it. Yes. That's one of the issues. So let's agree in this meeting, if that is the route that we want to take, that under no circumstances, if something goes to the coordination and however they spend the money, the chapter stays quiet, they don't withhold money. Because that's the only ammunition that chapters have. Don't give the money to coordination. Yes. When I was president or coordinator, it happened. DC withheld money.
2016.
Because they said I was giving money to the President General, my friend, to go and, you understand? Money was withheld. That set the precedent. So we have to decide whether we want that precedent to continue or it doesn't exist anymore. Which means for all intents and purposes, there are no checks and balances.
Yes.
But we can find other means of putting checks and
No,
balances.
it's it's everything we have. If we let it go,
Can the coordination
day by
withhold
day.
money to go to Cameroon also?
Yes, of course. Of course. Of course, you should do that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
The chapters can do it.
Let-
can do
Right. Okay. So that we had money.
So this is something that is taking us back to where we started talking about the root cause of this. To put checks and balances, we have to put some regulations. So, and Mr. Water just mentioned $6,000 that was taken from the from the coffers to the crisis committee. And if I can say one or two things about any money that was taken from the coffers to the crisis committee, the whole issue here is when the crisis committee was set up, it was us here, most of us here talked about it. I don't know how many people were involved, but the money was given to the crisis committee, which is true. And it was originally set up as a loan to that crisis committee. And if that money has not been, if the crisis committee has not been able to account for that money, now those who were in the crisis committee are supposed to answer. And if the coordination did sign for that money to go out, they have to question a quarrel in front of the people too. So, I personally, I do not have the report from the crisis committee. That report is supposed to justify all the money that has been spent in that crisis committee in front of the Ngwo people. It was not a personal business. It was something that was positively intended. But if we had some issues there, somebody has to be accountable for, and somebody has to speak up with a report on what happened and how it happened. But that is not going to stop us from moving forward. We have now learned that if somebody comes again next time and say, we need a loan from the Ngwo community, or we need something from our coffers, we're going to ask the right questions. It's just the same like when you fall, you get up the next time, thinking, how do I walk past this area without falling again? So, we had a failure. We will need people to talk here so that we'll put some modalities on how we can rectify that problem.
Okay, let me caveat what I say, right? To get past this impasse, because it could very well be an impasse. Let us put a resolution that, yes, going forward, by a certain deadline, chapters would have remitted all development dues collected that are due to the coordination. They will do that. But we have to caveat it that chapters also reserve the right, and this is where I'm not sure how we can couch that. Chapters would have the right to dispute, withhold, and possibly withhold funds in the instances that, in cases where they suspect misappropriation or whatever, they use what language ever you want to use, or they did clarification, satisfactory on certain expenses from the coordination. When the coordination provides satisfactory answers to that, then funds are released. We can do it that way to break this impasse.
Somebody who wants to say something.
Yeah, somebody said here earlier that funds that have been contributed, whether to DC or to Indiana, are no longer belong to these groups. Somebody said that. Did we agree on that?
No. It's our money.
What? Which one?
chapters again.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
It doesn't belong again to the chapter. So what you're saying is, also, chapter can have the right to reimburse this money to the individual. Can that happen?
No.
Okay. Let's go to the next. This money, is it chapter's money or Ncuda USA money?
It's Ncuda USA money.
We need to get this idea. We need to understand
If you want to call us,
it.
we can talk.
It's not even Ncuda USA money.
Yes.
Yes, it's not
National Ncuda.
Yeah, let's start here.
Ncuda is made of people.
So Ncuda USA is just an agent.
Please, with all due respect, when you are talking and people are listening, when somebody is talking, you respect that person and listen to something to put up your hand. This is not a mob.
No, but it's because he's doing his interactive.
I'm not talking about him.
So, the reason I'm saying this, if say money that has been contributed to DC chapter has to, it belongs to Ncuda USA. DC alone, even if there's an issue comes up that concerns coordination, DC alone cannot dispute that dispute that issue. It has to go like in the form of a vote where all chapters are involved in disputing that issue, not withholding funds because that particular chapter is disputing an issue that concerns all Ngwo people in the U.S. That's the way I look at it. Otherwise, money that is contributed into a branch does not belong to Ncuda USA. That means they can decide on what to do, even to reimburse it back to the people. Reimburse the money back to the people.
Okay. Thank you so much for your point. I'll give the floor to Mr. Aboro. He's been putting his hand up for a long time back there.
Yeah, I see that most of the problems that are arising is because of transparency. If you go to any non-profit organization, their Form 990 should be on their website. So when you file a tax, all the expenditures, everything should be there. So these chapters are supposed to receive the Form 990 that was filed for the previous year. If they have any question, they dispute it before they send their money to the National Committee. Because now they are sending money without even knowing what happened the previous year. And that is where the problem comes. And all the members here have a right to that Form 990. Because by federal law, all non-profit have to make that public. So when they file a tax, they have to make sure all the members can see what is on there. If you have a question, you ask. And there is no question now, that is when they can send all the money going forward. And all the questions are arising because these forms have not been made public to the people. And that is why everybody is in doubt asking what is going on. And there should be no reason why that form should not be filed by the end of the year. So these people from their rights are very clear to shoot out. And if they make an error, they didn't file it for 1, 2, or 3 years. To me, members cannot continue to contribute when they cannot see what happened the previous year. They have the right. Explain what happened the previous year before they give their money this year.
Okay.
So let's make the form public so that people see how the expenditures were made. That was what was reported to the federal government. Then they can now contribute their own money.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Aboro. So that takes us to one other point that he had raised out there. Which medium do we want to create for the sake of transparency, where we are going to publish anything concerning Ncuda, even financial or whatever we're doing, so that if you have a question, you ask that question, so that we don't go to meetings and stay there the whole night just to argue about financial issues. People can be able to go there, see exactly what is going on, and then they come back here and say, okay, it's our money, let's move on. Do we want to create a website for Ncuda? Do we want to continue using the e-group? That is something that we can put down and assist in this transparency issue.
To publish documents?
Yeah, until we have a website that is fully functional and is password protected, stuff like that. We can use our Yahoo Groups account. We have file sections there. Previous reports, even from some years back, are published on that site. I remember Mr. Ameritu Matthew used to publish financial reports and put them on that site. So we could use that as a repository for such documents. Yes, the filings, photocopies can be made, PDFs from the filings and posted on there. And then an email sent out to members to go there and see. And then a copy of that PDF can be posted on our WhatsApp with a message from the financial secretary that, hey, this is the Form 990 that we filed this year. So that's just for information's sake. But the issues in question here do not arise from the reports, non-filing of reports. They arise from the figures, the project that we have ongoing, right? So, but not to belabor that point, let's agree on what leverage chapters can have vis-a-vis the coordination.
Yeah. And resolution on that. He proposed a resolution. Can we debate on that resolution?
What are the things you want to
Okay,
say?
somebody proposed.
I want to add something to what as you suggested. If we were saying that 2 years to the end of this month, all these figures must go in, let us also put a clause that if there's a project and money is given to the coordination, they have some time, even if it's not complete, to submit a report. We should not only wait until when it's time to give money, then we'll start holding the money. If they will make it periodic report about the project, we'll all know what is going on.
Great idea too.
Yeah.
This question about sending money to the coordination national, through what the national president sent, if I'm not mistaken, when I was tired, I don't know, there was a clause there that no coordination should we, or people,
That's what I wanted to do.
zones should not send their money to the coordination, that it should send directly to branches.
Yeah, I heard it. Tom, that is what I wanted to say, the same we should wait.
Okay. We have so much regulations that are going to govern this association going forward. And that is what we're here trying to set the modalities, because we have failed in so many areas, and for us to go back and try to correct those things and not looking forward, then we're going to be here all night trying to find all the faults. So we're going to come up with a resolution to resolve this issue about how do we transmit money from one end to the other, how do we hold people accountable for not giving us quarterly report on what has been happening with the money that has been given to them. So that is.
Can I suggest timeline?
Let me ask you something. Do we have one solution?
Can I
Let's
suggest
discuss it about this. We have the resolution of when to submit.
Do we agree that we submit the documents and the finances to the national coordinator by the second week of January every year?
We are agreed on that.
Okay.
So we are more.
Everybody has agreed on that.
The withholding of dues. No, we are talking about when to submit dues to the Ncuda National, and we are deliberating whether the chapters could hold the dues and refuse to give the dues to the national coordinator. So, but we have these parties that are fighting against each other, and we don't have an independent body that can come in and say, okay, let's resolve and see who is right and who is wrong. Hold on a minute. We don't have a body that can resolve this issue between the national and one of the chapters or all the chapters. So why don't you just create a body like the ombudsman and his a group that can sit down and resolve this issue, because we have this similar problem this year, 2018. The DC chapter at the Ncuda National, they were fighting against each other, submit their dues or hand us the papers, and they were hitting their head against each other, but there was nobody now to come up and say, okay, this is what we can sit down and decide who is right and who is wrong.
So creation of a committee.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. Just my suggestion.
The code. None of them have IT take care of that.
I would have suggested a resolution this week. Can I say it? Okay. I would have suggested that the chapters have an obligation to send money collected to the coordination. But in case that is within 2 weeks of the end of the financial year, and at the time of submission, if they have a concern, they have to put it to the coordination in writing, and the coordination has 2 weeks to respond. Otherwise, they will withhold their money.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good point. They reserve the right to withhold their money.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes. I think point noted, and the session committee is taking care of.
So what about the ombudsman?
No, it's all right. Be taken care of.
We should have an audit committee. Naturally, we should have.
That will come at the end of the day.
Okay. Are we clear with that? Are we moving to the next point?
Yes. Long time.
That the resolution committee is coming up with those suggestions to come up with a full resolution that they are going to read at the end of it.
Have we accepted the resolution?
No, they will read the resolution at the end of the meeting.
They are not ready yet.
Okay. Now, are we now on resolution?
No. Yes.
Hey, we're talking
about
everything that we are talking, we are making resolutions from them.
Can I also bring my own thing about what I said? About what Tom was trying to say now, President General. Some people were already misconstruing what I was trying to say. Please listen carefully. What the coordination, what the President General is saying, any branch, first, the United States, Ncuda USA is an entity in the United States. It's operating under certain rules and regulations. Now, if any branch of this organization decides to start doing its own thing, just like you are saying, withholding funds or doing anything or reporting to the President General, then you are encouraging fragmentation of Ncuda USA. And think about it. If I am if he is Ncuda South, I am Ncuda Indiana, you are Ncuda, let's say, North Carolina, somewhere, and you decide to do your thing, this one start doing their own thing, there's no, it's in shambles. So the idea that any branch can just deal directly with the President General, I think there should be a resolution about that.
There is one thing that I just want to read just one line on what was said.
No, they should.
Because I think we are going maybe further away from the point that was mentioned in this letter.
It was mentioned in the letter.
He said,
yes.
Can we listen, please? He said the coordination must not subdue branches or chapters or prevent them from dealing with the Ncuda General. It did not say stop them from giving any money to anywhere. They are not talking about money. They did not. We are not going to say we are going to be making rules and say this branch is supposed to deal this way or this way. As a coordination team, the coordination is trying to see how do we make sure the branches are moving on smoothly. But if a branch have a question to the national coordinator, to the national chapter in Cameroon, they can still do it. That is just what is trying to be said here. I don't think it, except,
yes, it's clear.
Yeah, it's very clear because it doesn't say they are preventing.
And you open your mouth and say this issue is closed, we do not go back to it. That is, you start here by saying, let us go get over this and go to this. You don't notice that the last 20 minutes, all this will be talking, we're repeating this, that people have said. So when you have made a declaration that will
unfortunately, when we have any bereavement in the United States, as it concerns war people.
I love that. And I have a suggestion.
Insurance company.
No, is it question and answers?
No, this is something I want us to make it as a resolution that we as Ngwo people will do this or that if we have a bereavement problem or any unfortunate situation. I know Mr. Golov said he has a suggestion. Yes, we want to get those suggestions so that we put it as a resolution for something that is going to govern us at the level of the coordination to operate in that capacity.
Can I?
Yes, sure.
What defines our status in this organization, in my opinion, is your contributions to the organization. When I talk of contributions, I know people will, sometimes we cannot evaluate moral contributions, it's a fact. But the only method of measurement that we have usually is money. In that sense, based on that, I want to suggest that if at the level of the branches, there is a member that has paid his full contributions for the past 3 years, and something unfortunately happens to that member, that branch should report to the coordination so that the coordination can at least recognize and be beside that member. Other than that, it should not be because Patrick knows me, I know Patrick, and even if I'm not making my contributions, I should go to support Patrick in case of a problem. No. It should be that you fully paid up for the last 3 years, and then they report to the coordination, and the coordination can agree on something that will do to support that member. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. That is a great point. So that takes us to the point that the coordination is going to coordinate any unfortunate situation that happens in our community. Because if the branch is reporting to the coordinator, then what does the coordination have to do to make sure this is taken, we are taking care of it? So we now need to put in place what, as a people, we're going to do. I remember when, maybe in 15, 20 years ago, it used to be maybe $10 every Ngwo person, or $20. I can't remember the exact amount. It was for every Ngwo person, not branches. And that was my thought process, that we need to just put it back together and say, if we have a member who has an unfortunate situation, all the Ngwo people in the United States under the coordination who are fully vetted in our organization and are paying their dues, this is what we're going to do.
Yes.
I believe that's true.
That's true. Bypass.
Because we will have more population.
You know,
more people.
So, do we agree on $10? Somebody is saying $10 here.
I say 20.
No, don't say something that
$10. Is it a member who dies?
Okay.
Is it for members?
We know. Those are the nitty-gritties that we don't even have when it comes to start putting the things together, because it's something that is going to take a lot of, because we talk of members, siblings, members, parents, and all those things. That is going to come into the full resolution that is going to be put in place. So the resolution committee can say, okay, members is $1. Okay, when we talk, the reason I was trying to get this off the branches, because we have branches with 10 people, and we have branches with 50 people, so with 100 people. So if we leave it at the level of the branch, some branches are going to be struggling at the end of the day.
Yes, and equally will be a good way for people to join their branches so that they can pay their contribution.
Thank you. $20. We have
So, can the resolution committee come up with the rate, definition of beneficiaries and the amount?
Yes.
No, you cannot do that. No, that task cannot devolve on the resolution drafting committee. Because we draft resolutions, we don't make them. We draft decisions that are already made. The right way to do this is, I think in our constitution, if I remember well, we have supposed to have something like a health and welfare committee, right? I would want to suggest that the coordination, whoever is the next coordinator, the next team coming into office, the resolution would be that from this seat, that members are authorizing the incoming coordination to put in place or to study, to analyze, make proposals for a national assistance scheme for members, right? So now, it would be now on the coordination team to appoint or designate members into that health and welfare committee, which is a committee in the association, standing committee. Then those people, one of their first tasks will be to do this work, because it will require doing a lot of analysis, a lot of assessment, and interviewing people. Because a lot of this was even done within the DC chapter, where Mrs. Ajonko led a team to come up with some with an insurance plan for us, right? So it's not something that can be done in one night.
Okay. Thank you. So it's one more person to give us a suggestion. We'll move on to the next point. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that actually what you're saying is a very good idea, but it's very important that we update the constitution of Ncuda USA. It's the most outdated constitution we can think of. Even the word coordinator does not exist in that constitution. Maybe people don't even know. The word there is president.
No,
it's not even coordinator. Exactly.
There are articles of amendment that change that. There are articles of amendment.
When I went through it, I didn't see that. So what I'm just trying to say is that maybe they should form a bylaw or a constitutional committee to update that, and then they can, what we are talking now, they can develop that and include them in it, and then we adopt it as a new constitution.
It has to go in the constitution.
Okay.
Finally agree.
So we all agree on that?
Yes. There's a hand behind
Okay.
There's a hand behind you. He's not saying, sorry.
Mr. Ajong, I'm sorry, we did give just one point, but you can move on to the next point. I'm sorry. So, any other resolution? Okay, if you have a new resolution, go ahead.
Okay, I have 2 points in mind. Number one is that we must also make the coordinator accountable. My own proposal is that we should have some patrons, 1 or 2, that will be able to supervise the coordinator. You can't just give them a blank check. And at least we need to have a patron.
Please, can we give some point of order?
To the coordinator, because one of the things that I have foreseen for the long time is that we don't have no oversight. So when the coordinator is going wrong, there's nobody to guide him. That's why elders are here. Second point that I want to make is that we're talking about there are some people in some states that maybe there are only 1 or 2 or something. I believe that if you are in a state that you are 1 or 2 or the organization is not really functioning at that point, I believe that you can still be an affiliate member of a group that is working. Be a member of a group that is working. If you are in a state that you are alone, you can affiliate with DC group, Indiana group, and all those things. And when we develop a group in our area, and then you can move in that way, we don't lose members in the state or something like that. Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. Thank you. All right. Do we have any other question? I know we are all exhausted and people are tired, but I have one more thing I wanted to throw out there as a resolution. This concerns the creation of social media groups bearing the name of Ncuda. Or people. We have to come up with a resolution, and I think we are going to send this to the national Ncuda in Cameroon to set some modalities if we have any social media group, this person is still going to be working on behalf of Ncuda. Nobody's just going to create a group, put all the Ngwo people group in there and try to control the people. So we're going to put that as a resolution to send to the national coordination that this is what we're going to have, and we're going to now select the people who are going to manage this group for us. I don't know if that is a good point.
We have a communication department.
Yeah, if we decide that is the communication department, then we'll have Okay. So I think that is said and done, except somebody has any other resolution, or else we'll go to the next point.
Can you clarify that resolution before that?
What are you actually proposing?
I'm proposing that no individual can create a social media group for Ngwo people without and claim ownership and take ownership of it. Yes, I think it has to be without the consent of the national body. As you can all see, we are here today because of the love we have for our village. Welcome to the Midwest of the United States. This has been a challenge for the Midwest group. But I will tell you today, they have lived up to the task. Before you all go back to the East Coast, you'll be proud of your own children in the Midwest. As you can see, the numbers are not there, but the will is there. The love is there. We are sitting in this hall today, in this basement today, as a people who have a purpose. And our purpose is to live together. Whatever direction, whatever thought anybody has been having in their brain, we're going to live as happy as we've always expected to be. I came to this position unceremoniously, but I set a few goals for myself that I will not burn the candle to the last end. I will make sure I light a new candle for the Ngwo community. We are here in Indiana. I would say our numbers were less than 30 people. But we have the same challenges like any other group. I get to talk with the president of the East Coast regularly on the state of affairs out there. We have all wronged each other in one way or the other. We have all taken challenges as Ngwo people. We have all failed. But because of the will, we have all decided we're going to move forward with flying colors. Sometimes you sit back and look at what do I have in my heart for my own people. Sometimes you question your own self. If this organization fails, who is going to be blamed? Don't think it's the executive. Don't think it's a particular person. because no particular person can bring this organization down. We, as a people, have the power to choose who we want to lead us. We have the power to change anybody that is not leading us the right way. We have the will to set a vision for this organization. And for us to do that, we should all open our hearts, set our conscience, and believe that my brother is here as my keeper. My sister is here as a keeper. We are going to move forward. I have never been this proud to stand in front of Ngwo people. You see, sometimes you always question your own self. Are my people going to survive? But you all venture that journey that the Indiana group has taken for the years that I can think of Ncuda. It's not an easy journey. Ncuda is not a part-time affair. It's a full-time commitment, because you cannot put your organization and this year you decide I'm going to be there, the next year I decide to go the other way. Who do you expect to hold the organization for you? It's all our organization. The financial commitment of this particular organization is supposed to be our paramount effort. We should think, how do we want the organization to run? What do we want to set for our organization? Who do we want to lead us? And how do we hold our leaders accountable? When you take the position as a leader of this organization, the people are putting you there to listen to them. You are going to take very many ideas and you craft them to meaningful decisions that you are going to make for that organization. A good leader listens. A good leader takes the ideas of his people to rule these people, because they are going to understand they are empowered because of what this leader is giving us. You cannot sit back and think it's my way or no way. It doesn't work when the people have diverse ideas. You're going to sit back and question your own self. Did I lead the people right or wrong? Because when your people revolt against you for not listening to them, it's not because you are a bad person, but you might have made mistakes. The listening is a strength that nobody can take it away from you. Just sit back. Sometimes if you see in here, so many people have been sitting back, they just listen. They learn more than most of us who even sit here and talk for 20, 30 minutes. They get exactly what has happened in this hall. So we all have to think about ourselves, respecting our commitment to this organization. Look at it's your organization. Nobody's going to take it away from you. Nobody is going to change tomorrow and say you are not an Ngwo person. You can get angry today, but you are still going to be an Ngwo person, even if it's 20 years down the road. Show some respect to the leaders you want to lead you. Sit back and talk with them and say, my leader, this is what I think we can do to make this organization move forward. Don't run away. When you run away, the organization is going to go a different direction. And those decisions that they are going to take in that direction are still going to affect you as an Ngwo person. Always sit back and think about, how do I want my organization to move forward? Like I say, I'm a proud son of Ngwo, and I will remain to be an Ngwo son. Long live Ncuda USA.
Good job. So what is next of the program?
Procrastinating, believing that tomorrow will do better, we will never do it. If we do not make it a point of duty to hold somebody accountable, somebody responsible for his action, then down the road, we will never do it. If we assume to do a project, let us handle that single project to a conclusion that people will be very, very satisfied. I want to say, my dear people, we have suffered a lot. We have received curses. Maybe somehow, it may be wrong, it may be right, the word is curse in one way or the other. Unfortunately, we live from one generation to the next generation, we're still committing the same errors. This is our time. We need to handle the matter and do the right thing so that tomorrow, the generation behind us will copy the good examples. Now, let me land. I want to believe that where we are today in this August house, we need to hold that project in Cameroon. We need to hold it. Whatever is going to be damaged as blocks, let them be damaged. We need to hold that project, make sure we have a clear audit of what happened before we proceed. I want to believe that if we do not do this, we keep believing that let us forgive what happened and move forward, then these people who are sitting here, they will not continue to contribute any longer. Because that's not the first time we've had these errors going on. I sincerely believe that, as it was mentioned here about a committee that was set up as a building committee, they had a report to present to us. What happened that they abandoned their job? What happened? This General Assembly gave them the mandate to carry out an obligation for Ngo people. They need to come over here and explain to the people what happened they abandoned their job. And when they abandoned their job, where are we right now? It is but true to say one thing, which is very simple. Most of us are here in America. We're not in the village. Whatever we are doing is for the pride of where we come from. We believe sincerely that giving back to your society or your coming where you came back from is a blessing to God. We're not here because we did something wonderful to God to be here. It was the divine will of God for us to be here, for us to look back from where we're coming from. And when we turn back to make sure we give them the assistance we have to do that, and down the road, we don't realize those efforts, it becomes a sad story. One thing is clear, we're not here to point finger at anybody. I said we're here for accountability and to hold people responsible. Amen. It must be A, B, C, and D. Nobody should live here pointing finger at anybody that this man did this. No. When you go to a convention, there are two things about it. Where we're coming from, the bad thing we turn it apart. Going forward, we carve a new way. If we don't look behind and correct our errors, going forward, those same errors will follow us. I'll raise my case. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.
Okay. Madam Jacob.
Yes, I think I just want to support what Mr. Peter is saying. I think every year when we gather here, we talk of project. I don't know, this project, what is the level of the project right now? Where are we? Maybe I'm the only one who is lost. Because if we started the project back home, we started from the foundation, and then we had the war, and then the roof. Where are we? Because we keep talking of a project. Where are we? Because if we decided once here that we were going to take the project from one stage to another, which stage are we right now that we are still, are we targeting the whole project, or we're still talking just out of a particular level? Where are we? Maybe I'm lost. Please, I just need some clarification. Thank you.
Okay. Can I try to answer some of these burning questions before we move on to the next question? The project, as it stands, unfortunately, I save it on my phone, and I don't even have a phone right now to be able to look at exactly the details that I have. But before I get to say anything about where the project is, I know Uncle Chris Bagger did bring out some what happened to the project committee before we are even talking about project issues. I'll take just maybe 1 minute to say, in the executive forum, we had very, very heated discussions, arguments about exactly what the Ngwo people sitting here gave us to do, we as a coordinator, to my best understanding, and it was for us to finance a project that was going to be supervised by a project committee, and they just give us a report to take to the Ngwo people. But during most of our executive meeting, we argued about it, and I'm not going to point out any specific persons, but there were persons that did argue to the contrary,